allies. Oleksandr Danylyuk served as Ukraine's national security chief and finance minister. He joins me now live from Kyiv. Thanks for being with us. I see you're wearing military fatigues. Are you part of the territorial fighting forces of Ukraine? Have you picked up a weapon now?
Yes, yes, obviously, yes.
Yeah.
As
What's it like now?
thousands Ukrainians did.
Yeah. What's it like now, the situation for you and others who have decided to fight in Kyiv?
Well, we understand that's not only about Kyiv, but we understand all around the country that it's only up to us to stop the Russian aggression. And if we resist, we can also rely on the support of the West. And the fact that we resisted Russia so strongly for the 8 days already, that I think impressed everyone, and respect towards Ukrainian around the globe. And we are receiving a serious support now. First of all, military support, and financial support. But unfortunately, the truth of the matter is that it's still up to us. Everyone person matters who have weapons and who defend their country at the moment, whether they're in Kyiv, Kharkiv, Mykolaiv, Odessa, doesn't matter. We're all one team.
How do you defend yourselves against the type of assault we're seeing in the south? Mariupol is surrounded. We have another city that's fallen. A village not too far from Kharkiv, completely decimated. One of our affiliate reporters said that 8 bombs fell on it from the air from Russian fighter jets. How do you defend against this?
I think what a lesson it is for our Western friends, who are adoring Russian culture, ballet, these paintings. The Russia was presenting themselves as the cutting edge of the culture, and now they are real barbarians. They show their real face. They come, they kill the civilians, they destroy the cities, historical cities, just level them down. This is their real face. And when they go through the cities like Kherson, for example, is Energodar, what they do is basically destroy everything on their way, just leave then hundreds of soldiers and just move away. They don't care about the civilians, how are they going to live, how are they going to survive. It's a behavior, it's like Tatar Mongols or Huns were doing, were destroying alien and superior to civilizations to them.
Yeah.
So it is really difficult to fight this war, really difficult. And at the end of the day, what would help us is the continuous supply of weapons. We have enough soldiers, we have enough territorial defense fighters who, provided they have a good weapon, modern weapon, they could stop Russia. They can, inflict very serious damages.
Are you getting those weapons? Are they arriving?
Shooting down planes.
I understand. I imagine that you would need probably anti-tank missiles, surface-to-air weaponry, that type of thing. Are they arriving at the speed that you would like?
Yes, they are arriving. They are not quickly distributed across the whole country where they needed. For example, I went through the training of using the 3 types of anti-tank already, so I'm ready to perform my duty. But the new weapons are coming, and many more Ukrainians needs to be trained to use them. For example, in some areas of Ukraine, we still don't get this anti-tank. But I think the key point now is air supremacy. We still have, our aviation really makes a difference. And Russia is determined to get the supremacy. The only way to not be allowed to do it is to actually provide Ukraine with the aircrafts, military aircrafts and helicopters. That's what we need now in order to have chance to stop this Russian army.
What do you make of those reports? And we see a lot of video as well shared on social media of Russian soldiers who are complaining that they haven't been fed in days, some of them breaking down, crying and calling their parents in Russia, others claiming that they were never told what the mission was, that they thought they were going to a training exercise and then they suddenly ended up inside of Ukraine. Do you think that morale in the Russian army is low?
Well, first of all, don't forget what you're mentioning now is it's not that they like on their own initiative crying on the social media. No, they've been captured, they're in captivity, and they basically were offered to say to their relatives that actually they captured, and they're trying to portray that they are totally innocent. What is absolutely clear to me is with so many people being captured, with so many Russians being killed by now, it clearly will affect their morale,
Yeah.
one way or another. Whether they knew where they were coming or they didn't know, doesn't matter, right? At the moment, their morale is being affected, and so I think it will be more difficult for Russia to kind of mobilize more forces. Although they're doing it now, as you know, they enforce tomorrow the martial law across Russia. So
Yeah.
basically, they're trying to mobilize more troops. But I can tell you that people, for example, we had a conversation. My mom had a conversation with one of our relatives in Russia, and actually they were scared, that their children will be mobilized and sent to Ukraine because they already learned that they will be killed here. There's a high risk of them being killed. And this is spreading across Russia. And this is good. This is good that
Yeah.
they, despite the Russian propaganda, getting the truth. And the truth is not very bright for them.
I just one last quick question. What do you mentioned relatives in Russia that your mother has. What do you think would stop Putin now? Could anything stop Putin short of a military response? Could these sanctions, closing off the economy, not allowing the central bank to raise funds, kicking some banks out of SWIFT, is that going to do it or not?
Those are very important sanctions, but they will not stop aggression. But it doesn't mean that those sanctions should not be applied. No, the SWIFT cutting from SWIFT, all banks needs to be cut, but not as of end of March, but immediately. So such like very strong economic sanctions needs to be imposed, but we need to be absolutely honest with ourselves that it will not stop the aggression. What could stop the aggression is, oh goodness, I even don't know how to say it, but I think it's only Ukrainians can stop the aggression now. We will have to pay the heavy price of our lives to stop him now until this actually start to work. What also could stop the aggression is the weapons that we could receive from the West, airplanes, helicopters. We need pilots. We need actually the West finally not just trying to kind of sympathize, but support us like they are us, right? That's what we need because we are all confronting the very large and barbarian army that is ready to destroy everything on their way. So we need to be fully alarmed to do this. Armed to do this function,
Yes,
to do this job.
got it. And you're ready to fight, Oleksandr Danylyuk. You're ready to fight yourself.
Of course I am, and like many others. And that's actually, I'm very proud to be Ukrainian. I'm very proud to see friends around me and people who I've never met before who are equally determined to basically fight till the end, to the victory and being a victory. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah, Oleksandr Danylyuk, thank you very much for joining us live in Kyiv. We appreciate coming on this
Thank you.
evening.
Glory to Ukraine.